Welcome everybody to this Menopause Whisper Show, where we want to break the silence around menopause and we want to do it together. So today on our show, I have a very special guest and her name is Jayanthi Raghu. She is from North Carolina and she is founder and CEO of Chrysalis Creators LLC. And this is a software company. Also, she has a background in psychology, design thinking, and she is a Reiki healer. So, welcome, Jayanti here.
Thank
Like,
you.
hello.
Thank you, Geeta. Thank
Yes. So,
you.
Jayanti, we are going to jump on our show directly, and I'm so happy to have you on my show. And
Me
I'm
too.
sure, like, it's everybody is intrigued to hear from you. So let's just jump in on the show. And the first thing I'll ask you, yes, the show is about creating awareness around menopause. And like the very first thing which comes to my mind to ask you is, do you wish like your mother told you about this or anything your mother told you about menopause? Like,
Yeah, I mean, menopause is such a household thing, right? For generations, we've heard as little kids, but never really understood it. But yeah, definitely, my mother hasn't really told much because hers was a very short. I think as soon as I was born, she had her menopause. I was a late child, so that's her story. But I've only seen her after the menopause or during the menopause, so that's all I know about her. But what I mean, I've always had this mind of like I call it the citizen scientist, constantly pondering and analyzing nature or analyzing
mhm,
environment. So I've always been curious, and I'm a little nagger where my mother used to say, always talking about philosophy, stop it. Because no, but I think that helped me because when I got just tell you a small experience where
mhm,
I've grown up like I got married late. So as I was getting married, and my friends were already married, and I had this very good friend whose mother-in-law was very diabolic. But her
mhm.
mother-in-law was a great friend of my mother and my aunts.
Okay.
So growing up, they were very well known, and my mother used to say she's the sweetest lady and friend that we know.
Uh-huh.
But then my friend used to say, no, she's horrible. She's a narcissist. She's this. She's that. She's evil. But I was like, no, that's not true because my mother is saying that she's really good. So then I was like, maybe something went wrong. Somebody can't just change like that, right? So that's when I
Mhm,
was thinking that, oh, when I become, maybe it's something to do with menopause, I have to study it. And then I got married and, things happened. Then I came here and I was like, oh, yeah, I need to study on this. And then come to my own stage right now, I'm going
mhm.
through that menopause and I hear all around me, menopause, how it changes. So like that, I'm like, I feel there is definitely something that we need to learn from each other.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. No, definitely. But what I understood you said was like your young friend who was newly married and a person you knew in common, like that person is the sweetest person for others, but for your friend, it was like a maybe like a very evil person, and that's her mother-in-law. And maybe she was going through menopause. And are you saying at that age, maybe you were also younger, you knew about this term, like somebody goes through menopause or
Yeah,
they
I
can
was already
behave like
28.
this, like,
Yeah,
okay,
I was already 28. So I
okay.
was like nearing 30, right? So I was like
Uh-huh.
wondering because my mother also started saying, yeah, she seems very different, but I don't believe she can ever change. My friend cannot change like that overnight. So that's when I used to talk to my mother. Could it be something else that changed her? Could it be something? Then I came across this, okay, there's changes that happen in the
The
body.
hormonal changes they happen or something like that. So
Yeah.
see, right now you're saying like you're going through this phase. So it will be like very like added value to know, are you going through any emotional changes? Like do you get angry, frustrated, forget things, feeling out of control, anything of that sort, which you are seeing in your own uh, body or own life, like something changed, like the way you like, describe the person, that person was different and suddenly different, so something like that after
I
so many
think
years.
right now, I mean, though I pondered it at younger age, now I see that lady's situation when I'm going through. I'm still in my perimenopause. I am, I'm in my 50s, early 50s, and I'm going through perimenopause. I'm still not menopausal, but my siblings, my others have gone through late menopause, like, in their 60s. My older sister was in the
Okay.
60s. So each person is different. I
Correct.
understand that, but everybody is going through an emotional change. And of course, the physical changes. I My observation, right? It's just my observation, not scientific or anything. What I have observed is, if we are like flowers, right? When we are young, we have a lot of estrogen, a lot of hormones, and even when we play with dolls, we are like caring. We are the best mother, you know. So that way we are like, oh, I can take care of this baby. It's mine. We play like that as girls. As we grow older, do you feel that dryness when we have some women? I've noticed this, when they give birth to a baby, that doll now comes alive when you're older and you're married and you have a child. That suddenly that emotion is, some women go through depression after childbirth.
Postpartum depression, they say, like it's a
Postpartum
big thing.
depression.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. That's another thing. But that is another setting of the stage of the change, right? Emotional and hormonal changes that we go through. Definitely the neurotransmitters are stressed, and we are emitting all kinds of signals by saying, and women, we don't notice a postpartum depression. We continue on in that same phase. So from the childbirth stage, this menopause clock has started, right?
Okay. Even you can say like a first child, even
Yeah,
nowadays people get the child very late, actually, like in their
yeah. See
30s.
that.
At least,
Me,
like, means I got first baby in 26, but now I see rarely kids, like, getting, like, our next generation getting kids early. Like,
yeah.
so,
I got mine at 30.
oh, okay.
And 36 was my second one. So, the difference, of course, I do agree that there is when we are older, our mental capacity is more, we are more wiser. So I see that pattern, but I don't want to go on a tangent. But what I'm trying to say is, the lady's expression of emotion recedes as we get our childbirth, have our babies. We are not as loving as we need to be, or we could be, as we are not retaining that same freshness of a flower anymore, right? So that slowly, I think that changes. And then as we enter the perimenopause, like how I am, and there are a lot of signals the body is giving, and we don't understand. Many of them are physical. Like, I used to have this, like last year, I think I started having this, I started jogging, thinking I can jog. But then I couldn't even put my foot down. I'm like, what is happening? I never had plantar fasciitis. I've had it long back when I had vitamin D deficiency. But this was like crazy. It was like I was like really stressed and I could not walk and my hips started hurting. Then I started learning about, maybe it's menopause because my periods were regular. Each person has their own thing. I'm not
Correct.
saying that. But the symptoms that I feel overview, from an overview, we have to watch around our age, around 45. I think we start to begin to watch our signs, like the physical signs that we get are the body pain, sudden body pain, or odd pain, like, you can't walk. It's not right for that age. And then you also have to check your blood work, I think. When I was assuming I have menopause 5 years back, so I checked my hormones and my blood work. And at that time, what we learned was, if you have very high calcium, blood calcium, that is a sign that your body is pulling calcium from your bones. And as you go towards menopause, suddenly the doctors will do your DEXA scan at that point, which is too late, too little, too late. The DEXA scan should have happened at the age of 40 or whenever. But then that is not necessary if you know this particular trick, which is knowing if you have too much calcium in your blood. It's a sign that there is a gland called the parathyroid glands behind the thyroid gland. They are very tiny rice-like glands, 4 of them. One of them, even if they go rogue, meaning they malfunction, that's it. They start sending signals to the bone to release calcium as much as possible quickly. because the body doesn't have calcium. It's just going rogue because of hormonal changes. And that is very common among women. But doctors do not look at it. I'm sure they've learned it, but they don't have the time, maybe. I don't know. But for me, from a curiosity standpoint, and healing my own body was my thing because I've struggled with a lot of things. I learned that, okay, so controlling the calcium in the body stops that onset of osteoporosis.
Okay.
Because later I come to know my aunt has osteoporosis. My mother also recently was diagnosed with early stage of osteoporosis.
Okay.
Which is,
And
my
for the
mother is
listener, you
92.
can just explain like the side effect, what happens when somebody has osteoporosis.
Oh, yeah. So my mother-in-law has osteoporosis. And what happens is lack of calcium and, overworking is one thing. In osteoporosis, the bones become porous, like sponge holes. And then it becomes very brittle, starts breaking. And my mother-in-law came here. She was walking just up and down the stairs. She came down the stairs, she fell down, hurt her rib, a rib broke. I mean, nothing, just slipped a little bit onto the stairs. That's it, her rib broke. So it's like so delicate and fragile. Our bones become. Then naturally, we can't exercise. We can't build our muscles to support as we age, right? No amount of exercise at that late stage can help. But if the doctors can tell us beforehand, hey, check your calcium when you're before going through menopause, check it, increase D3 and K2, the supplements, that really helped me. That is the key ingredient. I felt that at that time, I started taking it 5 years before, not knowing that this is perimenopause. I over anticipated it, But that is my story. But then now I'm in the perimenopause still. I just had my blood work and still I'm in the perimenopause, but I'm going through where I'm having this pain. And I also recently learned, just during perimenopause and menopausal stage, we have a band around the hip. All women have this band, and it supposedly loosens its grip, and hence causes
below the belly, like below the
below
belly,
the belly.
above the hip.
Yeah, so it causes us to have pain and muscular joint as if it's sciatic, but it's really not sciatic. Even on the plantar fasciitis, even that, they say it could be related to this particular, I forgot the term actually, I'm sorry. But there is a term for it. I'll have to tell it to you. Maybe you can post it next time to your audiences. But that particular thing is what is happening to me right now, where I'm having pain around my hip. But having hormonal, my doctors are suggesting that I have a hormonal bioidentical hormone therapy or something. I'm still contemplating on it. But those are some of the things that you can do. And of course, I'm a big advocate of having natural ingredients and natural way of healing. And that's what I'm hoping to do. Like, Siddha medicine is one. Siddha is another form of like Ayurveda, but it's more like herbal. Like, so those kind of medicines really help.
So you started the good thing. See, what I understood is like actually the main point which you said was like, since your childbirth only, you start losing those hormones. And actually, I think the ovaries, the percentage, what I found was like it just you're at 10% of your ovaries by 30. It is still good to make babies, but it is like you are supposed to be at the 90%.
Correct.
Before that. And then like you are at just 10% around that 30. And like many times what happens in the young age, we are busy with so many other things and we don't take care of these things. And menopause is like a far away. We are just like, okay, I'm not menopausal. I'm just not there. But one thing which you told, like the hormonal changes kicks when the baby birth only happens. And after that, it is going down only, worsen. And instead of waiting till that 40 or 45, in your case, you're fortunate enough to get some kind of a signal where you went 5 years back and started few things and checked it. That time you were not even perimenopausal, but it is helping you right now when you are perimenopausal. So somebody who doctors also means basically if a doctor also give that DEXA scan or the calcium level, which you suggested everybody should have, maybe in 35 you said. so that every 5 years, you're not losing those, and then you don't go to that brittle bone symptoms where like suddenly like you just and we hear that like above 60 just hip bone broke, you said the rib bone broke. With my mom also that happened couple of times.
Yeah.
And which is just because of like a simple fall from the bed to down, from a bed which is a down bed, and you fall on the like the floor, and you just break your rib bone, so that is very, very important. I think I can everybody listening, like please take away this is very important. And if you have not heard of few terms, like you should go and research or search on it and go to your doctor and get this test done. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and also another point is, maybe it's something next session, but something to do with mental health. This is a physical aspect, physical downside. What about the mental? That is completely ignored. So that also needs to be addressed.
Yes.
Mental,
But when
because
you say mental health, I want to ask you, if you have seen any example, or in your case, or any example, because you are, as you said, you have a curious mind and you keep observing, and and I know you like that only, like you're so curious about so many things. So when you say mental health, or like anything which you think difference happens with the relationship or even finances, like in that period, because this is a one phase, then you're above that 40, and now the money also, your kids are going to the college, or you need money for that, or anything changes, or anything could affect financially or relationship wise in your view, and how that affect mentally.
definitely, I mean, of course, I would say physically, when we are affected with the other hormonal issues, we are also going through relationship issues. We might be just getting, we might have daughters or sons, and we might be getting daughter-in-laws, or we have daughters who are, blossomed, they're beautiful. I've seen mothers get jealous of their own daughters.
Wow, okay.
I've seen, I have seen women become suddenly losing interest in life because they're depressed, depressed, or some just lost life, the
But
enthusiasm
nobody
and
says
drive.
depressed, no, nobody says depressed. That is the funny thing, like you push it
Yeah,
off. I think you're numb to all that.
yeah,
When
you don't know.
so
Actually, you don't know. It,
uh-huh.
the awareness is not there. Hey, I'm not supposed to feel that way because I don't know anything better. I don't know what is happiness. So that is one aspect. Then the other one is, I feel, of course, the mother-in-law relationship we are all familiar with,
Uh-huh.
how we change. That key is, you have to have a partner support. Your husband has to be the one who has to, husband or some partner has to tell you, hey, do not change when the daughter-in-law comes. I tell my husband, if I have tomorrow, if I do change like others,
Uh-huh.
please pull me in, rope me in, and correct
Uh-huh.
me. Because that reflection has to be there when it comes to self-reflection has to be there when it comes to mental health. And so that's very key. Key is,
Mhm.
as we become wiser, are we self-reflecting on our behavior and
Correct.
pulling out like weeds.
Mhm.
So there is a physical, there is a mental, and then keeping ourselves busy with activity by volunteering. I think that is key to keeping a better menopause experience.
I think that's the wonderful thing you said. You're saying like mentally, main thing, observe your body, and if you see a change, you should speak out or actually do something about that. Is I
You're
think the
right.
one key which you told. Second thing is, do not ignore the mental aspect of it, like the way like your behavior changes or your habit changes, or like the way you gave the example, getting jealous of own daughter. Like usually we'll think why a mom will get a jealous, but as you say, you have seen it, so maybe there. So that is, and then being busy and creative, so you maybe do something, you start your own business or you volunteer, but keep engaged so that you don't even know, your menopause is going through like easily. That's what is your
Yeah, yeah.
biggest
I mean, companionship, right? Basically,
companion, huh? Community
buddy system,
also maybe.
like buddy
Okay.
system.
Mhm.
Like you and I talk about it a lot of time.
Correct.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So that's a buddy system that we help each other. Hey, I'm going through this. So that's I
Uh-huh.
think it's a that buddy system needs to happen.
Like the way you have a buddy for a morning walk and then you don't miss it, and like that kind of a thing, you have a buddy who is
Some
like
accountability, right? Yeah. Definitely keeping up.
I think that is beautiful. And one more thing, I just was curious to know, like when you entered this perimenopause, you told the example of the running thing, like where you were not able to do which you were doing before, but any of the habits or structures changed during this time? Like something you were like so always used to do it, but something like you're not able to do it, or some habits or some structures changed, like in last few years, and
Uh,
which
I,
which you're
I think
aware of.
sleep,
Okay.
getting up. I mean, that's a common thing, right? Like hot flashes, getting up in the morning hours and feeling hot.
Mhm.
You know, don't want to wear clothes. It's,
Mhm.
it's so hot sometimes. Yeah. So it's like those kind of things. I've never had that before. Those are
Uh-huh.
some of the changes. And unable to sleep early.
Okay. So you're awake like
Those are,
I'm a night owl.
yeah. Yeah. Night owl and then not able to sleep thoroughly, right? And
Uh-huh.
definitely melatonin is a big factor, right? Everything reduces.
Correct. Yeah,
Melatonin,
yeah.
T3.
And then see what I see, we always talk about for the better health and a healthy body and energetic body, the circadian rhythm of the body we should maintain. But as we are going through this menopausal and the aging phase, which is like menopause is adding to it because of the hormonal changes, this sleep cycle, even we want to sleep early, like we are awake or something like that. And then it affects the next day. And then again, the hot flashes. So you're not getting a
Oh,
sound sleep. So it
yeah.
keeps adding to it, maybe creating
Sure.
the stress on the body, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. That reminds me to also mention to your audience that taking the 5-HTP,
Uh-huh.
it's a over-the-counter supplement that helps calm our minds down and not have too many to-do lists.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So 5-HTP is something that you can look up. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a very good suggestion. Very good suggestion. And do you think do you like feel that you did any mistake or one big mistake comes to your mind? Like what could have you done better or something?
I mean, I'm still in the early stages, so
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm still on the journey. So I'm still learning. So I'll
I
let
think
you.
I feel one thing about you is like that 5 years back when you started on those vitamins and did your scan, that itself has given you a heads up. So you're going through the journey, you're aware, and you have seen the people around you who went through the journey. And in your case, looks like because it's your hereditary, like your mom and your sisters and all, it's going to be a little late.
Yeah.
So you just need to be keeping up with it and fueling. Looks like that. So like looks like you are on track, but any if you think like so if you think if there was a resource or a program or a person that could help, so just to go through this process which can help to get this journey better, what it would look like,
I,
what
I
you would
think
think of it.
I think you're doing a great job. You're starting the conversation because I think that itself is a big deal. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? Or it's something that's last on the list. So, but I think your this initiative to talk about menopause, I think I really want to applaud you on this because this itself is a good thing. And having like you as my buddy talking, that is another thing that you're offering, which is great. I think that's and most of your coaching has helped me a lot. I mean, even your previous coaching has helped me a lot, and this is something very timely, I think. And
Yeah,
that's why I like your events and I like your coaching style because you're like you pick up on the right topic and that needs to be addressed, which is what I think I think that will be my next step towards more towards what you're going to say, because you're going to bring in a wealth of knowledge and rather than just one person, right? So that will be the interesting part for me to watch for.
thank you. Thank you so much. And see, the participation and you being coming in forth and talking about it, that itself also is a big thing because that can encourage others to talk about it, because many times I have seen, means I have heard also, seen also, nobody wants to talk about it. And it is like actually, okay, menopause, I'm not there yet. I'm not because uh, the awareness about perimenopause is not there. It starts when, as you said, after the childbirth, that is not there. You should be taking care from 35. That is not there. Finally, when you're 40, some skin changes, something happens, you wake up. Then finally, like your periods, like they go up and down. Then you wake up. Then finally, okay, now but the periods completely stopped. Now what changes? And then you have no control, weight gaining, this, that, all
Oh
that
yeah,
happens.
weight gaining. I forgot to mention weight gain. That was my mistake. There you go.
Oh,
Weight gain. I gained crazy.
so,
And
but
I didn't
why
know.
did you think you gained, like you are a person, as a person I know you, you are very healthy and very conscious. Okay. All
Yeah,
these years, like, you have, so how come you wait?
no, I gained a lot. I have hormonal issues and I go back and forth. I yo-yo a lot. But
Uh-huh.
this time I gained a lot and I could not lose it easily. That was a biggest that I think that was it started last year when I started the summit. I did a
Uh-huh.
summit for the mental health and I was working day and night. It was like crazy time. That kind of set me off on a wrong path, actually. That kind of spiraled down, and
Uh-huh.
I did not sleep on time, and that caused extreme weight gain, and I could not lose it. Right now, I'm because I can't walk to lose weight, so that was a big deal. Then slowly, now I've lost weight by
Mhm.
going intermittent fasting, and
Okay.
I'm doing water therapy now and then. And then, of
Okay.
course, I do go for my walk now. Now my leg is better because I'm adding supplements.
Uh-huh.
So definitely, that has helped.
So you
So now
can
I've
walk
lost.
at least, like, you can put in some walk. So you're
Yeah.
saying like the weight gain was more because of that stressful month where you had this project to run, and that time you lost control. Like you were
Yeah.
been a healthy person, very much in control, but this because of the stress of this event to manage everything,
Not
then
only
you
that,
went off.
yeah, not only that, at that time I also lost one of my best friends' child. She lost it, and I could not recover from. She might have recovered, I don't know how, but I could not recover from that loss. My husband too. We both went through depression just by thinking and knowing about that loss. I think that also kind of spiraled
Like
down
a
the
emotional event.
emotions, because I know I was depressed in August of last year all through. So it
Okay.
was painful. Even now to think about it, for me, it's hard,
Mhm.
but I've come out
Uh-huh.
of it to some extent. But I can't imagine the mother, my friend, who would be,
Mhm.
just 1 year since she lost her. I still remember that it's just 1 year on May 29th, which is very sad for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. The long weekend. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, I can understand. So, but the thing, what happens during this perimenopause phase and the postmenopause also, anything happens like a emotional,
Any
it
trigger?
accelerate 10 times more. So,
Yes.
being younger, you could handle it very strongly, but then you feel you're strong because I always felt I'm a strong woman, like I can handle anything. But it is actually becoming 10 times more, which is out of your capacity. And then, as you said, like a person like you, and it just hit you, like, and then you lost control on eating, maybe, or whatever, the which caused the weight gain. And then, like, now when you realized it, you started taking care of it and you're doing it, but it's difficult to lose,
It
like.
is. It is. I mean, also because I'm a healer, I am empathetic. So I tend to
Mhm.
take in more than I can handle
Uh-huh.
sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that is also, see, so many things are there, and like we just need to be so much aware. And as you said, the best thing I liked is that buddy system. Like if
Yeah.
you have in that time that buddy, some community where you are talking about it, or like, just have this, like the way there are so many groups for traveling groups are there, kitty groups are there, like,
True.
some women's, like, girls, like events are there with something like that. This is something which is our health and wellness, mental
Mm.
and physical both. Maybe something we have it, and like, we are with each other, maybe something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but that is fantastic. And the one last thing I would ask you, like, what advice which you would give to your younger self or somebody younger self, which
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
experience which you have, like, couple of advice.
I mean, I have a niece who's 22, and
Uh-huh.
she eats well, but she's a nutritionist too. But I mean, if I had my daughter, I would have told her to eat anything fatty, please eat it, because
Uh-huh.
my sister used to avoid fatty stuff, very conscious. But what happens is that doesn't support your ovaries. So,
Okay.
childbirth, you will not be able to give birth to healthy babies if you don't eat fat. So ghee, cream cheese, Eat it when you're young. Do not restrict young little girls from eating those. Let them be chubby cheeked and beautiful. Be happy, grow happy, and eat everything that you can, because everything is needed. And then I always want to tell everybody, especially girls, do not go for frequent enemas and to lose weight. Please, that causes neurotransmitter issues and causes mental health problems. For vanity, we do such things, but actually, in the long run, it will not help us to age gracefully. Don't do it. That's my advice.
No, that is beautiful. And this is very profound. And what I feel is like we thought like this show, maybe people who are above 30, above 40 will be listening to it. But looks like anybody listening in that age, maybe they're going to tell their daughters or their daughter-in-laws, like, okay, if I'm behaving crazy, I'm not crazy, just maybe menopause. Okay.
Help
So please
me, right?
understand.
Become my buddy.
Yes. And also, like when the young girls, like they're going behind this weight loss and all that stuff, or not eating fat-free diet or something, that is also a big tip, because they're going to go to their daughter and say that, I know you just have son, but you think so much about daughters. I have two daughters. So like, I'm going to tell Simran and Sia, both of them, okay, eat fat, just grow like healthy so that you're prepared for later. Like, later, see, after 35, 40, 40, we cannot do this. We cannot eat like the way we used to eat before. It's going to harm us negative way. But if we enjoy, like, okay, life, okay, we have done it. Like there's no more craze or like, like, okay, I want this kind of a feeling. So that is an awesome advice. And I hope whosoever is listening to this, go and give this advice to your youngers, which is your daughters or daughter-in-law, or friends, like, anybody in your circle. So that was awesome. Again, Jayanthi, thank you so much for coming on show and giving so many small tips and knowledge. I hope this was like really entertaining also, and a knowledge filled of knowledge session for anybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, for giving me an opportunity, Geeta. This is a good share. I like to share that. Thank you so much from my heart. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you so much, and see you then. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.